Hey folks, I'm Mike McCarty. I'm here with another episode of the Rough and Tumble today. This story goes back on the Arco King lease. It was up in or down in the Sabine River bottoms, south of White Oak, Texas. And it was back when the wells were still flowing. And that meant you didn't have to have pumping units like this pumping unit here out there to pump that oil out of the ground. You just turned the valve on the wellhead and that oil would free flow out of that well. And it did that for, I want to say 60 years, 50, 60 years, something like that. Amazing the pressure that was in that Woodbine formation for all those years. And in order to work things automatically, and lessen man hours and power, they had hydromotor valves that would sit at the wellhead, and they ran on 120 volts, and so we built 120 volt power lines all over the lease to all the wells, and that way they could make the operation automatic. You got ready for that well to come on, the clock sent a signal telling that hydromotor to come on, and it'd let that oil start flowing out. They had what they call allowables too, that they could only pump so much oil off that lease every month. Well, anyway, this old guy, he was out there on a tractor with a bush hog mowing right of way, keeping it cleaned up so things wouldn't grow up in the power line and cause problems. And he'd been busy doing that, and he inadvertently hit a guy wire on one of those poles and jerked it hard enough that it broke the power line, and that line just fell right across the hood of his tractor, right there, and there it sat. And he just froze. He wouldn't kill that tractor. He wouldn't do anything. He just kept his hands to himself, and he sat right there just like a statue, and wouldn't move. Well, directly a pumper came down through there and saw him, and tried talking with him, and he said, "I'm not moving. I got this electricity's on this tractor." And he said, "Man," "I'll get somebody out here. They'll be out here." So he called us, and I didn't get to go out there. This employer I had, he was on this job, and he related this story to me. And they got out there and they killed the power out. And this old man, they went up and said, "We got it killed out. You're good." And he wouldn't move until they come and got that wire off of that tractor. That dude wasn't about to move. And so they got the wire off the tractor, and that poor guy, he looked at them and he just goes, "Oh, Lordy mercy." He said, "Man, if it hadn't have been for my tennis shoes, that thing would have killed me. Graveyard dead." So everybody got a big kick out of that, been saved by his tennis shoes. And see, in his mind, his feet were on that steel tractor floor there, and he was sitting in a plastic seat, or something he didn't think would conduct, and he wasn't touching anything else. He keeping his hands to himself, so he felt sure that those tennis shoes was insulating him from that steel down there, and that's what saved his life. Well, he did understand something about conductors and what have you, and about electricity, and he made it that day. And I believe that was probably the first time that a pair of tennis shoes had saved somebody's life. Anyway, that's kind of funny, but he got through it, and we're real proud that he did. Real proud that he did. See some funny things out there and some scary things, but that's the story for today. Would love to hear some stories from some of you guys out there, and I'd love to hear some other stories too that may not be oil field related. We've all seen a lot of things in this life, and it'd be interesting to be able to share some of this with our viewers. Well, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe, and until next time, I'm Mike McCarty. saying so long from the Rough and Tumble channel.